everyone, and welcome to the Blissful Living Podcast. This is the Queen of Feeling Fabulous, Rochelle Marie Lawson, and you are at the right place if you're ready to expand your wellness, wisdom, and wealth and get nuggets of gold that you can utilize in your life immediately after listening and watching this show to help you transform your life into the life of your dreams. So, I have a phenomenal guest. As you know, I always have phenomenal guests. I've been doing this for quite a while, and my guests are amazing. Each and every one of them are amazing. I'm so grateful to have them on the show. So while we're getting situated and I take care of business, as I like to say, grab something to write with, get your favorite beverage, find a nice place to sit where you can be undisturbed for a few minutes and take some moments for yourself. If you have not subscribed to the show, please subscribe to the show. If you have not shared the show, please share it with everyone you know, love, and care about. Because again, there's nuggets of gold here that people pay thousands of dollars for, and you're getting them for free just by tuning in and being part of the Blissful Living family. So while you're doing that, I want to thank Blissful Living for You at Blissful Living, the number four, the letter U.com, as they are a sponsor of the show, of course, but they have some wonderful things to help you with your wellness, wisdom, and wealth. And they have some events coming up called the Brave, Bold, and Unstoppable Women's Summits in Washington, D.C., Atlanta, and San Francisco. If you are a woman, entrepreneur, seasoned or not, and you're ready to expand your business empire, then you need to make sure that you're at one of these summits. In addition to that, the proceeds from the summits goes towards supporting our women veterans. And if you're a women veteran, we invite you, highly invite you to come to the Brave, Bold, and Unstoppable Women Summit. So you can find out more information at blissful living, the number four, the letter U.com, or www.unstoppable-women's-summit.com. Our next sponsor is All Day Cable Incorporated, a premier woman-owned, minority-owned telecommunications installation company located in the heart of Silicon Valley, a top 50 woman-owned business. And they are what they say, the premier telecom installation company, as they specialize in installing voice, data, fiber optic cabling, modems, routers, anything you need for your network distribution to operate effectively, audio, video, speakers, monitors, all of that stuff. So if you're in need in your small, mid-sized, or large corporation, check out All Day Cable at alldaycableinc.com. They've been around since 1989. And so now the exciting part, you should be ready, situated. Let me tell you about my guest. And you're gonna really, I hope you got pen and paper, because you're gonna really want to, this gonna be some good information. Okay, we're gonna have a nice, beautiful conversation. My guest today is Heidi Smith, and Heidi is a best-selling author, transformation guide, speaker, and accelerated evolution academy master coach and trainer. With a deep passion for guiding her clients toward their natural state of joy, Smith's approach to make room for joy by helping others let go of limiting beliefs and intense emotions that hold them back from embracing their true selves. Her best-selling book, Making Friends with the Boogeyman, is packed with her powerful insights and practical strategies for navigating difficult emotions and life challenges. Drawing on her own history with extreme experiences, anxiety, and addiction, Smith offers readers candid stories and empowering tools to reclaim their personal power and create an extraordinary life full of abundance, peace, love, and joy. So, welcoming to the Blissful Living Podcast is the phenomenal, transformational Heidi Smith. Hey, Heidi, welcome.
Oh my goodness, Rochelle, you are amazing. Can I take you everywhere?
Yes, you can.
Thank you so much for having me on your show. What a gift you give the world with this platform to share all of this amazing information that you find. So thank you.
Thank you. You know, I always say the divine timing is absolutely beautiful. And I'm a believer that there are no coincidences in life. There's synchronicities, but there are no coincidence. Everything that happens is meant to happen. And so I'm looking at, I have on my eggplant shirt, which is my royal regal queen color, and your background is purple, which is again part of that light spectrum of purple eggplant, so to speak. And I discovered that we both are Aquariuses, and our birthstones are amethyst. I mean, and that is the color for the crown chakra. So, boy, you guys are in for some stuff because it's about to get really powerful. And I can talk all day about the beauty of the synchronicities, but I want to get into the topic because I think the topic is deep and it's important. And I know I definitely will be taking notes. So I want to ask you, with regards to um, exploring our emotions for our highest good, why is that? Why is the emotional aspect of things so difficult for us to get a grasp on, particularly when they're negative or perceived to be negative?
Well, I knew you were going to have the good questions. I knew you were going to have the good questions, Rochelle. Well, I mean, the emotions are an experience, right? It's you go on a ride when you are having an intense emotion. And if it's a negative emotion like fear or anger or guilt or shame, I mean, it can take over your whole body, right? Like, I mean, the right side of our brain is dedicated to emotions. This is a powerful thing. Our emotions are messengers, and they have important things to tell us. So, however, because there's that intense experience, can be an intense experience, I find that people are reluctant to go in there. And, for myself, growing up, being a very sensitive individual and having really big emotions, a lot of messaging I heard was like, tone it down, keep it under wraps. It's too much, it's too big, it's too scary, right? And so I think this is part of the reason that people are reluctant to go there.
Yeah, it's very interesting, the whole emotion thing. Um, it seems to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems to me that the more negative the emotion is that is experienced, the deeper that pathway or that roadway becomes. Why is that? Why is it not the other way, where the more positive our emotions have digs the deep tunnels versus the negative? I know there's a ton of people that are listening and watching us, and I'm like, yeah, why is that? Why is the negative so deep?
Yes, well, I mean, the brain does tend to go to the negative first. Like and that's a survival thing, right? Like all of our emotions are survival. Uh, they're there for survival. Like fear, of course, fear is meant to keep us alive.
Right.
I like that. I want that. I need that. So I don't want to get rid of fear. I want to accept my fear. I want to understand my fear. And, when I have the courage to experience the fear, then that what we were talking about, that intensity decreases, and I can get to a place where I can connect again with my rational mind, and I can be like the overseer, look at the big picture, and then I get to decide, okay, is this fear real, or is this something that I can bypass, right? We've got a lot of fear from our ancestors that still happens. Like the body, when it gets afraid, it thinks it's under attack, right? Like that's why it promotes the fear, because you're in danger, and it wants to protect you. But
Right.
in this day and age, very few things are going to kill us. And so by having the courage to experience the fear, and then you get calm, because just like my puppy will freak out, and it freaks out the less I pay attention to it, the more it barks and barks and barks. And then once I pay attention to it, it calms down, right? And this is the same thing with our emotions. Once we experience them, then they calm down and we get to that peaceful place where we can use our rational mind to make the best decisions for us.
I love that. I mean, I thank you for sharing that, because I think that's a question that a lot of people have, is like, why are my quote perceived negative emotions so deep, so deep, and in the positive stuff, it sits on the surface, and then as soon as something negative happens, the positive just gets pushed behind in the closet somewhere behind those old pair of shoes that you never wear, and that and what I'm saying. And so
Absolutely.
good to know that, for one, it's the way our brain operates, and two, it's part of our whole humanity, survival of the fittest type of thing. It's embedded in us, and if we get the courage to allow the emotions to come and surface, the next time it won't be so deep.
Yes.
So I
And
love that.
and we can train ourselves to focus on the positive, because we can create positive spirals just the same as we create negative spirals.
Oh,
So that's a wonderful thing to know. And the way you and I met was through a year of joy. And so both of us are contributing to this amazing movement where people are paying attention to their joy, and what it is, an energetic law that what we focus on expands. And so by paying attention to the things that bring us joy, and looking after ourselves, like, there's so many things I want to say. Okay, talking about
it's a good deep topic. So go, girl.
So with the negative, quote unquote, negative emotions, for a lot of us, anyone out there that was like me, and we were told, or I listened to the message to push down the feelings, I had a lot of stuff stuck in me that I needed to excavate before I could access the joy easily. So this is something to consider. We store things in our bodies, and we can store them for decades, for lifetimes even. And so just by giving yourself permission to go in to your body and feel these emotions, getting the support you need, whether it's a coach or a therapist or a psychologist, like whatever calls to you, where you're going to feel safe so that you can go into these big emotions and you've got your buddy there with you so you don't get lost in it, right?
Right.
You go in, you get what you need, and you come out. And you're like, okay, here's what this fear needed to teach me. Here's what this anxiety wants to show me. And once you start moving through all that built up stuff, it gets easier and easier to connect with the joy that you naturally are. It's like, the diamond of joy in your being, it's always been there. And so it's shining. And so, it shoots out these lights through all the dirt. And once you start moving the dirt out of the way, it just shines brighter and brighter and brighter.
I love it. I mean, thank you. That was beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, because I got so many nuggets out of that with regards to, tying in, and the whole, really how we met was through a year of joy. And joy is a beautiful, beautiful emotion. And so, I just start thinking like, okay, if I'm having, doubt or worry, I can shift my thought to something joyful. And just maybe that little shift of my thought to something joyful might calm the fire of that negative energy or negative thought that is precipitating. And then the other thing you said is like, what you energetically focus on becomes a reality in your life. And boy, oh boy, I wish I would have learned that when I was a kid. But it is so true. I had to epiphany, and I still have them, because it's like I have to catch myself sometimes thinking like, girl, you're going down a rabbit hole, catch yourself, because I don't want that rabbit hole to become a reality. And so I have to pivot and shift. but that was just so you guys, nugget to go, shift your thoughts. Don't think about stuff if you don't want that, attract that energy, or that don't have that negative emotion, if you don't want to attract that into your life. And let me just continue on. So I want to ask you a little bit about the book. About you being a transformation guide. Now, as a transformation guide, you've written a book that candidly shares both your personal journey along with stories about clients that have navigated adversity. Can you share a little bit about, first of all, what motivated you to write that, and second of all, what did you see, or was there any commonalities that came out of that, that's shared in the book with regards to how to navigate, how different people are able to navigate adversity based on their needs?
Yes. Well, the reason that I wanted to write the book as candidly as I did is I wanted to show where I had been. Like, I wanted to give people the inside experience of the turmoil, of the suffering, of the self-hatred. Like, I had a lot of self-hatred. And so I wanted people to see where I had been, so that if anybody could relate to any of those feelings, that they wouldn't feel alone, right? Because I'm someone that lives an alcohol-free life. I am no longer addicted to alcohol, and the reason that I was able to change my life is because people had the courage to share with me their inner world and what they struggled with. And it was like they talked about my insides, and I was like, oh my God, I'm not alone. So that was a really important thing, to let people know they're not alone, and then to share solutions, right? Because I'm a big solution person. It's like, let's focus on how, we're lost. Let's figure out how to get unlost. I don't want to spend time fixating on, how miserable it is to be lost. I want to know how to get out of there, right? So
Yeah.
it's a healthy balance of respecting your emotions and also recognizing that they're not running you. You run you. Like, you have the power. And so that's what I want people to know, is no matter how long you've struggled with something, you have the power to change it. You do, no one else. And I just get goosebumps thinking about that each of us has that.
I love that. I love, again, you sharing that we have the power and you're empowering us and letting people know that the power doesn't lie external of you, it lies within you, and you have the power within you. Again, I think it goes back to that word courage, or being brave, just being brave enough and have that courage to trust yourself with it is what is probably one of the first steps you need to take. Now, I know, based on your experience, and your experience with your clients, can you describe some signs or symptoms that individuals may exhibit when past experiences impede their journey towards bliss?
Yes. Well, here's the thing. Again, our body is a magical machine, right? Everything that's going on is for our highest good. That is what I believe. All of our emotions are for our highest good. And so if we've had intense experiences in our past, then the brain wants to shut that down to protect us, right? We got to close it all down. It was too much to deal with at the time, the shock of it. And so that was back then, right? When we start shutting down one part of ourselves, that's going to affect other parts of ourselves. So, a common thing that people come to me with is they don't know their purpose, right? They don't feel useful. They don't know themselves. They don't know what they're good at. They're confused. They're lost. They can feel numb, disconnected, right? And it's because, they can be in their head a lot. because that's the safest place to be, right? In the past, things happen and it wasn't safe to be in their body. It wasn't safe to be in those big, huge emotions that were, overwhelming and intense. So they don't go there. And so then that becomes the way they live in this life. It's their survival instinct. But when they come and see me, it's not working for them anymore, right? Because when you're shut down, then you're not experiencing the good things either.
Right.
You can't, you're struggling to connect with your bliss because, like we were talking before, there's all this other stuff on top of the bliss that is you. And so this is why I say I make room for joy. The joy is already there. We just need to move some stuff out of the way.
I love it. It's like cleaning out the closet from those old clothes. You may love those old clothes, but it's time to let them go, because you can't experience the joy of having the new clothes if there's no place to put them with all the old clothes in the closet. So again, wonderful words of wisdom that you're sharing with us. I want to touch, because in the introduction of you, talk about the boogeyman and the whole concept of that in your book. Can you share with the listeners or enlighten us a little bit about what you mean by that, and what we can do to circumvent that?
Yes, thank you. So it was, like you said, divine timing. My book had a different title until like the last couple months before I finished it. That's when this Making Friends with the Boogeyman came in. And so, the boogeyman was all the things that I was afraid to face, all of the, things that I didn't want to explore because I thought they would be too much. And what I experienced is that once I went into everything that I was afraid of, that gave me peace. It gave me wisdom. It gave me knowledge. And, in accelerated evolution, which is a psycho-spiritual modality that I am practiced in, and I train other coaches in how to do this through the Accelerated Evolution Academy. The founder is Satya and Raja, extraordinary human being. So the boogeyman was these emotions inside of me that I was holding on to. And emotions are energy in motion. They're meant to flow freely, right? Like we've talked about, they all have a positive intention. Fear keeps us alive. Anger gives us the juice we need to make change. So that's when it's a healthy anger, right?
Right.
And so the boogeyman was going in to Making Friends with the Boogeyman is going in and experiencing these things: guilt, shame, sadness, all the stuff that I didn't want to feel. And then when I went in and felt them, all of a sudden I had all this renewed energy to be in the world, to follow my joy, to feel my bliss, because I wasn't using energy to push these things down and lock them up anymore. I listened to my boogeyman. I made friends with it, and it ultimately it wanted to help me. And so, like, the image on the book, which the podcast people won't be able to see, but it's an incredible image of, half the face is terrifying, scary looking thing, and then the other half is this angelic, spiritual light beauty. Yeah. And it's like we're both of these things. And so Making Friends with the Boogeyman ultimately is accepting every single part of us, because we're incredible, right? God doesn't make mistakes.
Right.
We are divine beings.
Right. You said something in the context of what you were sharing with us about we really can't experience the bliss like it's meant to be experienced if we're stuck in fear, worry, doubt, shame, all those negative emotions. And I think for me, a little light came on, because it's so true. Like, even if you have one of those things that are harboring you or harboring within you, you can't possibly experience that complete state of bliss. And so I think that brings a new light to helping people to understand the importance of trying to let go as much of those negative energetic emotions as possible. And of course, it's not going to happen overnight. It's
Yeah.
work, it takes work, it, people want to go to the gym and have that bomb body for 3 days. Well, there's people that have been working for 30 years or 3 weeks or whatever it is. It takes time to get to that place. And we should have grace with ourselves as we're learning to embrace those negative energies so that we can dissipate them, or those negative thoughts or emotions, so that we can dissipate them and allow more opening and more space for that bliss and that feeling of joy and passion and all those yummy things to flow into our life. So thank you. I mean, it was just like I was like, I always have light bulbs go off in my head. I kind of have a nice big forehead to store a lot of information.
Woohoo!
Thank God for that. But
Yes.
it's like every time I hear information from experts and transformation guys like you about emotions, because those are so deep, and so many people suffer from their emotional prison that they keep themselves in. It always is wonderful to be able to get an epiphany that I didn't have before. It just adds to the good pile and that beautiful cake that I'm making that's full of bliss. So yeah,
Yeah.
thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, I think I got time for one more question. Here we go. I like this one. Your tagline, "Make room for joy," is quite compelling. Could you elaborate on its meaning and the significance of this for our listeners?
Yes. Make room for joy. I it came to me like a light bulb. Like I was meditating, and it's like, thinking what's a concise way to show people, to communicate what I do. And so the foundational principle is that you are already joy. So you don't need to change. You are already joy. That is your natural state. That is the way you came into the world. You are this brilliant, beautiful soul. And life experiences have happened, and like we said, they've gotten in the way of you connecting with that. And so it really is just knowing who you are, and you're getting back to yourself. I love when people say, I'm remembering who I am, because you've never not been you. It's just practicing connecting with you, right? Stepping away from the distractions of the outside world and coming into yourself, and having the faith that you have everything that you need to get what you want and to enjoy love, happiness, and bliss. It's
Oh,
all there.
I love it. And so there we have it, everyone. Our phenomenal guest, Heidi Smith. I love this conversation. And I know you guys all received lots of nuggets of gold. There will be more information in the show notes. Again, if you love the show, please subscribe and share it with everyone you love and care about. Now, Heidi, how can they get in contact with you if they have additional questions or want more
Yes.
information?
My website, Heidi Coach, so HEIDI Coach, COACH.com. And so, yeah, there'll be podcasts like this beautiful one on there, and different events that I'm doing. I'm going to be doing hour-long webinars about unleashing your prosperity. So that's coming in the next week or so, that I'll start doing that. So, and again, it's like, just like bliss, you make room for joy, you make room for prosperity. Practice receiving.
Yeah.
Notice what kind of beliefs you have that are holding you back from, having everything that you want and deserve in this world, experiencing an extraordinary life.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So there you guys have information about how you can connect with Heidi. And I know you won't be disappointed, particularly if you want to learn more about how you can really get friends with all your emotions so that you can really open up that gateway and live in that beautiful, beautiful sea of bliss, then you definitely want to connect with Heidi. Alrighty, so again, thank you for your time. Share the show. Thank you, Heidi, for being a guest on the Blissful Living podcast. It was a pleasure to have you. I feel so grateful, and I know
Thank you, Rochelle.
you're very welcome. I want to thank our sponsors, Blissful Living for You at Blissful Living, the number 4, the letter U.com. Again, go check them out. You will be able to see more information posted about Heidi in the podcast. And you definitely want to download the audio so you can play it over and over while you're working out at the gym or grocery shopping or whatever. And then I also want to thank our other sponsor, All Day Cable Incorporated at alldaycableinc.com. And then to all of you, I want to wish you peace to your mind, wellness to your body, and tranquility to your spirit. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. And until next time, the Queen of Feeling Fabulous, Rochelle Marie Lawson, is saying goodbye for now.